What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are here for the UBL Season 3 semi-finals battle versus DyeItTight and his team beat the new Britain Rockruffs. This is unfortunately being played on a showdown after we had a disconnection on the Wi-Fi battle in itself, so we figured because we were so far ahead on the battle, it was a lot more efficient to be able to do it on a showdown and not risk another potential disconnection by happening. I do think it was due to my own internet. Rarely it does happen to do that to my 3DS where it connects the disconnection, but I just had a bad luck with it on that particular situation. So hopefully you don't mod it too much. And the team of 6 that I'm gonna be bringing are going to be Piloswine, Glyco, Greninja, Megagalate, Celebi, and UltraPlayer. The team builder video which goes more in depth about their sets, IVs and movesets and all that good stuff, and also regards to my opponent's roster and what kind of draft he has and what kind of matchup we have in hand. The team builder video for that should have gone yesterday, which should be popping right about now on your top right hand corner of your screen as a card in itself, and you can go check it out if you're interested in. A big thank you goes to Bern and Martin, two good friend of mine who helped me out for this matchup to be prepared in regards to giving me a couple of practice battles, and that gave me a little bit more better feel of the matchup, which I figured that was still helpful for myself. I did build the team pretty much on my own, but their practice battles definitely came into use, so thank you to them, especially to Martin, who had to wake up on a Saturday morning like 8 AM and his sleeping schedule wasn't used to that. So big thank you for him for having to do something which was out of his comfort, so that really showcases that he was really being helpful to myself as a friend of mine. So also a big thank you goes to AutoMatthic for sending the team, even though we end up being on the showdown replay. On the Wi-Fi battle itself, he did provide me the team, so big thank you to his efforts as well in that regard. And also big thank you to SlackOut as usual regards to the crafting itself. But now let's jump into the battle itself. I'm gonna be leading up going to this matchup. My lead options were between the 3 that I debated with, either Glyco predicting a Landers-Therian lead, or I would go with either Celebi or a UltraPlayer predicting a Primarina lead, which looks very good versus my own roster from his point of view. And I decided to do that I'm gonna be going with my UltraPlayer because it matches up very well versus everything barring the Landers-Therian, which I do have other responses on my roster. So that is going to be my lead, as he's gonna be leading off with the Primarina. And this is a turn that I felt that, you know what, I can afford to make a very good prediction here, because I don't expect him to stay in. So we go for the Ice Punch, which we do pack on the UltraPlayer, and that does a good chunk to this Landers there right from the get-go, which is beautiful. Now I do go into my Glyco immediately as he goes for his Stealth Rocks, which is fair play from his behalf. And now I do go for the U-turn as the Primarina comes in, and that damage tells me that okay, this thing was defensive set and not the TheChoiceSpecs variant, and now the leftovers will confirm that. So I go into my Celebi and I decide to go for the Reflect first because his team has more physical attackers that I'm worried about, mainly the Mega Pinscher if he would have come in immediately. All this Decidueye which he went in first, and now I go for the Light Screen as he went for the U-turn. I take it relatively well because that proves to be a very defensive Decidueye, not physical attacking investment by any means. After that he went to his Sholti. I went for the Hidden Power Ice predicting my Glyco, but my Pillow takes that like a champion behind the Light Screen and it took like a 4% from it, and that gave me a turn to get up my Stealth Rocks as he went to his Primarina, makes a great double into his Decidueye, which I believe that he's doing this because this is his Defogger, which he had to bring, or he has to pretty much have to bring every single matchup where he brings his Mega Pinscher. So because of my dual screens and the Stealth Rocks, that pressured him to do that play, and I took my opportunity to go into Bob the UltraPlayer, and now I get another prediction right. This was more so a 50-50, but I felt more confident that he's gonna go into Primarina, seeing that I predicted the Landers there on the first time. And this is where we have to do a little bit of recreation, and this is not the accurate situation what happened on the original battle. on the Wi-Fi battle before the disconnection happened. I did two-shot this Primarina without having to take any damage from it, so now we are kind of recreating that situation to the point that where my Lolo Mark was at, and making sure that I have also Berry intact on it, and it would not be burned by a scald by any means, and that is why he reveals having the Aqua Jet, and therefore now allowing the situation reoccur in this recreation how it was supposed to be. And now he goes into his Landers there, and I do my safe play, even though it was somewhat expected that he would go for the Sword Dance, but I did not want to risk my Piloswine take any potential damage or risk my Alola Mug, so I do go into the Gliscor first and force him to pop his C move, and then I sack my Celebi, because Celebi wasn't necessary anymore, and that is why I felt comfortable making my safe plays like that, so I can then position my Piloswine properly, not risk it having to take any damage from that Landers there, and we pick it up with the Ice Shot. Now he went to his Decidueye. He did not go for the U-turn because we didn't want my Alola Mark pop its berry, because in the original battle it did have a little bit more to the point that it didn't get popped by it in itself. And now he went into his Mega Pinsir, which he did U-turn into the actual battle. And I packed the Rock Tomb on my Bob, the Alola Mark, and I was able to do pretty much like a 50% to it, like in the original battle we did 52 I believe this time around. And now I did sack my Gliscor because I did not need the Gliscor, and I figured that, you know what, I'm gonna bank on the fact that he does not crit me with a quick attack if he went for it, and I go for my C move here, which was there for the Mega Pinsir to revenge kill it just in case, or did big damage to anything that swapped in, and he decided to preserve it, went to his Decidueye, and I two-shot it with the C move and Ice Beam combined. I did go for the Dark Pulse on the original battle, but at that point of health it did not really matter which move I clicked, because either way it was two-shotted. Then he went to his Latios. I did not want to risk my Greninja to be outsped a potential Choice Scout Latios and be killed by Draco Meteor, but in a hindsight, if I would have gone for the U-turn, this particular situation would have been a lot better for me, because then I would have been able to finish it off. So I have to play it a little bit different in that regard, that I had to sack the Alola Muk on the Draco Meteor, allow Mega Gallade having to take a one hit from the Latios to weaken it, to the point that Greninja revenge kills from there. And thankfully, because he had the Draco Meteor, my Greninja took that hit, and I was willing to let it take that hit, because I see my end game winning condition being the Piloswine, and the Mega Gallade was still valuable for this Jolteon if he had to ever take the hit, and Greninja wasn't able to beat the Jolteon, which I found troublesome. But now Be My Pillow was able to take the single beam like a champion. I went for the Earthquake because there was no way he risked his winning condition being this Mega Pinsir. He wasn't able to kill me unless he got a crit, even if he was adamant nature with that return. Be My Pillow took it, and we were able to land the Icicle Crash, and that is a great game to DyeItTight, or DyeItTight, I'm probably mispronouncing his name, so sorry about that if I am, but a great game to him. We won this in 2-0 fashion, very close battle, and I'm quite happy how I played. Obviously, he was able to come back from a rough start because I got some prediction right with my Alola Muk early on, which I'm very proud of that I did, and it did help me a lot throughout this battle. And then it was more so about me trying to be as safe as possible, making sure that I have the proper winning condition in the back. If I would have made a couple of predictions right, like with hard swapping into Piloswine on his Sword Dance or Landers Therian, I probably would have had a little bit more wiggle room at the late game and not having to risk this potential situation where I was at the end game. But I think I still played it pretty much how I wanted it to be played from my behalf, considering what 6 he brought and how the battle was unfolding. So I'm happy with the result and how I played. Thankfully there was no hacks involved on either side to be making a much of a difference for the outcome in itself. But now we move into the finals. We do go up against either OPJellicent or the DrSlaking. I don't want to spoil their result, even though I do know who I go up against, but just in case, if you want to go and check it out, make sure to check out from either DrSlaking or OPJellicent side. I believe both of them should have been uploaded by now from their perspective, that battle itself. So make sure to check it out to see who we go up against in finals. Hopefully we can do something that we weren't able to accomplish due to unfortunate situations in the D League in itself, where we also made to the finals. But hopefully now we can finish what we started over there and claim our title, which would be my 7th in my career, which would be really dope to be able to secure for myself at the very end of Generation 7. But until then, until we have the finals battle and the team builder for that, for either of our potential opponents over there, thank you all for watching. Make sure to check out in the channel. I might be popping a card right now at this moment on the top right hand corner, because there should be a new draft recap on my behalf for a league that we are gonna be still doing on a Wi-Fi before the Generation 8 starts. So make sure to check it out. It should be there available and uploaded before this one today on Monday as well. So make sure to tune in for that as well. But until next time, thank you all yet again for watching. I'm gonna be seeing you guys later.